It always starts perfectly. That's what makes this so confusing. The conversation flows effortlessly. You're both laughing, the replies come fast, the energy feels electric, and for a moment it genuinely feels like you found something rare, something different, something that actually has potential. And then, out of nowhere, everything shifts. The replies slow down, the vibe feels off, the excitement fades, and you're left staring at your screen, thinking what just happened. Here's the part: no one tells you nothing went wrong, at least not in the way you think, because that perfect conversation you thought was building attraction might actually be the reason it started fading. Attraction doesn't grow from comfort alone, it grows from emotional movement, from unpredictability, from the subtle tension of not fully knowing what's coming next. In the beginning, every message carries a sense of curiosity. You don't know how they feel, yet you don't know what they'll say next. And that uncertainty creates small emotional spikes. Your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical tied to anticipation and reward, which is exactly why early conversations feel addictive. But the moment everything becomes too consistent, too easy, too available, those emotional spikes start to disappear. When replies are instant, when conversations never pause, when there's no space, no mystery, no build-up, the interaction becomes predictable. And when something becomes predictable, the brain stops treating it as exciting. It starts treating it as normal, and once something feels normal, it slowly loses its emotional impact. And this is where most people unintentionally ruin things. They assume more effort will fix the drop in energy, so they text more, they try harder, they become even more available. But instead of rebuilding attraction, they overwhelm it, because now there's no anticipation left, no curiosity, no reason for the other person to wonder or invest emotionally. Everything is already there all the time, and without space for anticipation, the brain begins to disengage quietly, not because the person made a decision to lose interest, but because the feeling simply isn't being triggered anymore. That's why something that felt amazing can suddenly feel confusing. Because attraction doesn't disappear in a single moment, it fades gradually when emotional variety disappears, and most people never notice it happening until the connection already feels different. And then something even more subtle takes over. Expectations begin to form. Without you realizing it at first, there are no rules, no pressure, no standards. Every message feels like a bonus, every reply feels exciting. But after a few great conversations, your brain starts building a pattern. This is how it should be. They should reply like this. They should match this energy. They should show up the same way every time. And the moment that pattern breaks even slightly, the emotional experience changes, even if nothing actually went wrong. This is where expectation burnout begins. Something that once felt exciting starts to feel expected, and then slowly starts to feel less rewarding. Not because the quality changed, but because your brain adapted to it. And once something becomes expected, repeating it doesn't recreate the same emotional impact. It weakens it. Think about your favorite song. The first time you hear it, it hits you hard, it feels powerful. But if you play it on repeat all day, the feeling fades. The song didn't change, your brain did. And the same thing happens in conversations when you're always available, always responding, instantly, always maintaining the same tone. You remove emotional contrast. And without contrast, there's no excitement, no anticipation, no spark. The interaction becomes flat. And when something feels flat, the brain naturally starts searching for something new, something that creates that feeling again. This is why people sometimes pull back, even when everything seemed fine. It's not because they suddenly stopped liking you. It's because the interaction stopped evolving. It became predictable. And when there's no progression, there's no emotional pull left. And the more you try to force it back by texting more, explaining more, or trying harder, the faster it fades. Because attraction doesn't respond to pressure, it responds to emotional dynamics. And once those dynamics disappear, no amount of effort can recreate them the same way. So, how do you actually keep interest alive once it starts? Building the answer isn't playing games, and it's definitely not pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding that attraction needs progression, not constant attention. What keeps someone engaged isn't how often you text, it's how the interaction makes them feel over time. It's the sense that there's still something unfolding, something they haven't fully figured out yet, something that keeps them curious and emotionally invested. This is where you shift your approach. Instead of trying to maintain constant contact, you create rhythm, you allow space, you let conversations breathe, so that when you do show up, it feels intentional instead of automatic. You mix things up, sometimes you're light and playful, sometimes you're deeper and more meaningful, sometimes you pull back slightly, and let them come toward you. This creates emotional contrast, and that contrast is what keeps the brain engaged, because now the interaction feels alive, it feels dynamic, it feels unpredictable. In the best way, another powerful shift is pacing your investment. Instead of giving everything up front, you let things build naturally. You match their energy, you allow interest to grow step by step, so both of you feel like you're discovering each other instead of rushing through the experience. And most importantly, you stop trying to control every outcome. Because the moment you try to force perfection, you remove the authenticity that made the connection work in the first place. Real attraction includes uncertainty, and that uncertainty is not a weakness, it's the source of curiosity. It's what makes someone think about you when you're not there. It's what keeps the emotional tension alive. So if you've ever felt confused about why something that felt perfect suddenly faded, understand this: it wasn't random, and it wasn't because you weren't enough. It's because the interaction lost the emotional dynamics that create attraction. And once you learn how to balance connection with space consistency, with unpredictability, and effort with restraint, you stop experiencing those sudden drop-offs and start creating something far more powerful, a connection that doesn't just start strong, it actually keeps growing over time.